Hey guys, got a little review of the tool. Made a previous video of it about making this 4-port charger a a battery bank that you can, which I don't think I had the straps on it the last time I showed it, but I put backpack straps on it. Just an overview of people who hasn't seen the other video, I guess. The circuit board is still in here. I just cut off the power supply, and then I went around all the battery connections and disconnected the board from the rest of, from the sockets. And then there is a diode that was originally on the board, and I just reversed it so that each battery has a diode, so each battery can't feed power from one battery to the other, and you can't backfeed it into it either. It can just, this would be the plug that goes into your device. This is just a hollow battery. There is parts of it in there just all disconnected to basically hold stuff in place. My theories on this was not just having the capability to use 2, 3, or 4 batteries at one time, but I kind of had a theory that when these batteries get hot, you get the discharge rate slows, so the high amperage you're drawing off of it, and maybe less time out of use of it. Well, I was right. One of the things I kind of noticed with this is I put one lithium battery with, 1 or 2 of these. My battery life, as I'm using it, runs like I'm using one of these. You know how, like, when you use one of these the NiCad battery, they kind of like wind down. When I mix, one of these with one of these, or two, I have 2 of them with one of these, I pretty much run until you can tell when this battery kicks off. These ones here are still, have a little bit of juice left in them, but it's a consistent run. I used it on the Sawzall, cut all kinds of branches, and today I went out and did some weed eating, and I was actually starting to find things to weed eat, like trying to run the batteries down, and I just gave up and took the thing off. When I got home, of course, I charged the batteries back up, and I went, just for an example, I guess. If I just plug one of these NiCad batteries in my weed eater, I'll get around my shed, and I'll get about half or 3/4 around the house, depending on how, pretty much like a bad weed eating. Like, I haven't weed eaten in like 2 or 3 weeks. Looking at around the shed and like 3/4 around this house. Now, with 2 NiCads and one of them lithium batteries, I went around my shed, somebody else's shed, and 3 houses. And once again, I was like going around trees and going around the little gas meters, and I probably only used half the life. I could probably plug them back in and go do the same thing over again. So they go way further than what they could on their own. I never really seen how far the weed eater can go on just one of these lithium batteries. My guess is it'd probably do about the same, because this is just a single stack. It's not a double stacker. And that's pretty much what got me into really building this tool. Is whenever you go buy a kit, I have seen one kit that does come with one double stack and a single stack battery. It's the grinder, and it looks like an impact, a 1/2-inch impact kit. Comes with a big battery and a little battery of the lithium. And but most of the time the kits come with these single stackers or those. So if you want the double stack battery, you got to pay the $70, and then they have probably equivalent of a triple stack battery for like $100. But so I ended up with, I got 5 of these and 2 of these. I bought a 2-pack of these with a charger on eBay, and the guy said it came from, like, he bought a kit and split it up. So, you know, basically those came with a kit. I got one of these on eBay. This one here actually new. This one here actually there was actually 2 of these that came with a kit. The other one died. I actually got it wet and it ruined it. So yeah, this is turning out to be an awesome tool for those, you know. See, if you have one of these that burned up, or you know, you can find one on eBay, it really turns out to be a cool thing. Worked good for the reciprocating or sawzall saw. I didn't wear this on the backpack when I was doing it. I was just kind of carrying it around by the handle, and you know, just carrying it around and cutting branches off, just laying it on the ground. And then, you know, I need bigger straps. These straps are from like a junior, like a 12-year-old's backpack. So I do need some bigger straps. I mean, I can manage to get this on and off, but kind of like putting my arms in the air. But it's great, especially like I said, it makes these batteries here useful, because these batteries are like, just the performance of them really makes, you know, a person could easily judge a tool by the battery, and I was kind of put down with these batteries when I first bought my first kit. And then these right here, they're alright, but they have a very short life. It definitely is an improvement to those in a way that they don't really wind down. They just, all of a sudden, they'll shut off. And then I also kind of noticed that when they get hot, you know, when you're using them in heavy usage, they get hot, they'll shut off. And then they're not really dead. They're just, you'll put down the tool and then pick it up later, and then it'll run again. Maybe sometimes even for as long as it did the first time around. So when also, you know, stacking them up in this, they don't get hot. I mean, when you're done with them, you can put them right back on a charger because they're not warm. And like I said, you mix one of these with one of these or 2 of those, the lifespan, and it doesn't wind down. It runs just like you had a stack of these on it. They don't wind down any. Just all of a sudden, when this one shuts off, these ones here are pretty well dead. So, other little things, the grinder, I mentioned in my last video, my grinder died. Well, I took it apart, and it just wore out. Well, you see, here's one of the brushes, which is still good, but the other brush took a crap. See, there's nothing left of it. There's a brush there, but they can't come out any further. But definitely was worth the $10, even the $15, you know, the regular price for it. From Harbor Freight. It was a good little tool. I got a lot of use out of it for the money. Just with this model particularly, don't overheat it. It gets hot, put it down, come back and get it later. But, you know, I didn't burn this one up, but I just read the review when I bought it. Never overheated it. Got tons of use, so definitely wouldn't spend, for what I paid for it. You could buy, 5 of them for, say, a $50 name brand one. 5 of these would definitely outlast the name brand ones. Probably even with the name brand ones, the RPM that these things got to run, I would say probably even with a name brand one, you wouldn't get, if you overheat it, you could probably overheat a name brand one pretty easily and cause damage to it as well. I've seen these things at work burn up, you know, over and over again, and we got DeWalt and Porta cables at work, and I've seen them burn out. So, this thing, I don't know if I got the parts. I made a part. Might be in the car. Yeah, we'll go out, make a trip to the car real quick. Working on the foot brake on it. I haven't really worked on it too much this week because I don't have a grinder. But, here, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here we are. Made a cable stop. Let me see if I can get here in a little bit. Not so bright, but it's I don't know if you can see it here. There's two pieces of metal, like an 1/8 inch piece and a 1/4 inch piece. And I drilled a bigger hole in one piece and then a smaller hole in the other. And you ain't gonna be able to see in here very well, but pretty much, weld this on here, and then the cable will feed into one side, the bigger side. The housing, the cable will stop on there, and then make a connection to the pedal. And then I'm going to use some bicycle parts. Basically the cables from a bicycle, they're only like, here's one of the stops. The kind of cable goes through it and then squeezes it. But get a 4-pack of bicycle brake cables at Walmart for like $7. They might not last as long and break and stuff, but hey, for $7 you get 4 of them. And then, anyway, I welded the two pieces of metal together, and then I probably could have got a machinist that would actually drill one hole and then had an end mill type of drill that could have went down in, on one single piece of steel. But if you don't have to ask somebody for something, the next time you want to ask them, then they might be more willing. So I still haven't got a grinder. I'm kind of aiming maybe see about getting the C3 battery one. I don't know. I got another little project I might do, and one was moving this shed, and then my wife and I kind of discussed about talking about maybe building a garage at the property. And I went and applied for a loan. Looks like I got the loan, but there's some issues with the foundation part of it. I thought the area that I had chosen to build the garage was flat enough that I wouldn't have to have somebody come in and use a dozer or anything. But I don't know, it's kind of like this building here. In the front, well, I have to go around here just for you to see. You can see here there's like probably 2 or 3 inches from the ground. And then back here we got probably 8 or 10 inches off the ground. The building, I wanted to build a building that's 24 by 32, and in 24 foot I have 2 foot off the ground. So, and I want to do a cement floor and all that. So my idea right now is to build like a retaining wall. Build like a retaining wall using like 6x6 posts in the ground all the way around. And then I even thought about doing like some 6x6 posts in the center parts of it. Basically run them up to where they probably touch the bottom of the cement floor once it's put in, and then kind of just fill the whole thing with gravel and fill. And I got a lot of people that told me that that won't work because it'll settle and the cement will crack, and eventually the retaining wall will rot out, blowing out your fill. But then I don't know. I've went to parks and stuff, and they had a whole hillside, a huge hillside with a wood retaining wall around it, and it was doing fine. And you gotta figure, a pool building or a garage, a garage on a foundation could last indefinitely, but like a pool building, you're looking at like it might last 40 years before it starts having foundation problems. And given the fact that I'm going to be building like a pool building design and filling it with gravel, so gravel isn't going to hold water. And it's kind of windy out here. And I've been in like, say my uncle's garage before he had a cement floor. He put some fill in his building. Basically, it was a pool building, and it was part of the foundation of it is retaining dirt inside that is not on the outside. And one of his comments was he put that fill in there, and he figured, well, by the time he has concrete put in there, that dirt would settle. Well, it's inside the building, so it never gets wet, and it never did settle. He went like 10 years before he got his cement floor poured, and that dirt was still like, you just throwed it in there. So my thought is that whatever I put underneath this cement floor, the position it is going to be the position it's going to stay in, because it's not going to get constantly wet, and have rain traveling through it. But if anybody, any of you guys have any comments or any thoughts on it, I pretty much do not have the money to do any kind of landscaping. I have the money to be able to do what I just told you with the 4x4s and kind of doing a pool building foundation, but I do not. Anyway, give me your thoughts. I guess if they're bad or good, it doesn't matter. I think it'll work just fine. So, all right. Well, we'll catch you guys later, and thanks for commenting and all that.